It is a interesting time in America. Tuesday marked the election, and a lot of people's emotions are high. And our emotions were high tonight as the Phoenix Suns defeated the Miami Heat by a final score of 115 to 112. Great game, down 15 in the third quarter. Tell me if you've heard this story again. They come storming back. They own the fourth. Kevin Durant, again, with ice water in his veins, seals this game in the clutch. Matthew, I cast my vote on Tuesday, and my vote was for the Durant Nurkic ticket, and they won tonight.
Yeah, that's a
Purple
great ticket to
wave.
vote for. Yeah, I love it. And, both sides, it's going to be the end of the world after this election, and we're still alive. There's a Suns game. And the only side I care about is the inside of that Durant hand and that release of the basketball, because it is absolutely beautiful, and you can count on it. The most trusted player right now in the Phoenix Suns uniform. I like him now. I'm a big fan of him. I like Kevin Durant, dude. He's pretty good.
Newsflash, Matthew, apparently huge Durant fan. So amazing game to watch, amazing game to break down, as we will do right here on the Suns Jam Session podcast. So for those of you who don't know, my name is John Voida, managing editor, Bright Side of the Sun. I'm joined, as always, by my podcasting partner, Matthew, one of our senior staff writers at Bright Side of the Sun. It's the Suns John and Matthew Session podcast, the Suns Jam Session podcast. And we're ever so delighted to have you join us as we talk about this game between the Suns and the Heat. The hottest matchup in the NBA, dare I say. Suns, Heat. See what I did there? I can't resist. In fact, if I feel like every year I end up writing a recap for Brightside, which if you haven't done so already, which I assume you haven't, unless you're listening to this later, go read the recap. I wrote it tonight. I always make a pun about the Suns and the Heat playing each other, and I just in like my
Shorty
fifth,
balls.
yeah, my fifth in my fifth season writing for Brightside. I'm like, I'm not making that comparison tonight. I'm just gonna leave that one alone, and that I did. So don't leave that like button alone. Everyone who's watching, hit it. Hit that thumbs up button. Support the show. It's one of the best ways to do so. We're going to break down this game as well as various other topics. No, we'll just break down this game. So crack them if you got them, Suns fans.
Election talk.
Remember when Matthew used to crack beers with me?
Yeah. Matthew Policy was the best on the pod when he got really drunk, and the fans loved it. But it was either the fans or my family, so I had to turn down the booze.
Well, you always say go home and love your family. You don't say go home and love your fans. But you know how when you go to Suns games, you can get the canned Dasanis?
Yes.
Like, you should find where they sell those and then pop a Dasani every podcast.
That's a good idea.
For those of you who listen to this podcast,
thank you.
I would say 7 out of 10 times, I'm popping a Diet Dr. Pepper or something. I'm not always drinking beer. I'm drinking a beer tonight because I'm out of Diet Dr. Pepper. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, well, I'll get the Dasanis. You're
get
totally
on that.
Right. That's my bad. Thanks. I'll get on to Nephew Hayden for that.
Be better.
Okay.
Crack them.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk Suns Heat. To 112. The Phoenix Suns defeat the Miami Heat 115 to 112. They are now 7-1 on the season. They are now 5-0 at home, I believe. I believe that's correct. 5-0 at home. They haven't lost at the footy thus far this season. It's going to bring me my first question.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
All right, so Matthew, you're standing in line at your local place to vote. So yesterday. You're standing at a urinal.
Yeah.
And somebody comes up and stands right next to you at the urinal. There's 10 other urinals, but they want to stand right next to you. And then they want to talk Suns. How do you describe this Phoenix Suns team that is 7-1?
Well, I would first say, go to the bathroom,
and we'll talk outside.
Clinch. Yeah, we'll talk outside, but no, clinch that booty hole, man, because I feel like a lot of these Suns games are coming down to the wire with the wire. Excuse me.
Coming down the water.
I'm now
coming down
thinking
the
I got
piss
pee on the
stream.
brain. I got pee on the brain. Flush toilets on the brain. That's what I got on the brain. Coming down to the wire every game. It's great. You can clinch your butthole, but for me, I'm not clinching it. I believe in this team. I believe in Kevin Durant, who is absolutely the most trusted team or player on this team, and they're gonna pull it off in the end. I know this team, the Miami Heat, they come into Phoenix, East side. You know, they come in here. They're 0-1 against the Western Conference, doing okay. A little bit good defense, shooting to 3. Now they're 1-1. Yeah, right.
No, they beat the Kings. They had 3 victories.
Oh, my bad. Well,
they beat Detroit, Charlotte, and the Kings.
Did they play last night?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Nobody played last night.
Okay, because I was just
Trump and Kamala played last night.
Yeah, totally. I'll just do my little dance. I don't support Trump or anybody. I don't care. Now that I got that off my shoulders, and I feel like weightless now. So let me get back into the situation. Someone's standing next to me and they're taking a pee.
And they're like, "Hey, man, how would you describe this Suns team?" And they're trying to make eye contact, and you're trying to maintain eye contact.
Yeah.
It's like we're maintaining eye contact.
I'm telling
you know what
them,
I do? I turn to them. I go.
This has never happened to me though. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody eye to eye. I've talked. I've never done eye to eye though. Just talked. At work sometimes too, but it just depends. If I had an Adderall and I feel talkative, then yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, Suns, they're great. You got to watch them. That's what I would tell them.
Well, I was listening to the Fanning the Flames podcast hosted by So Says Jay and Dan Duarte and Paul. They've been doing it for a long, long time. And one of the things that Justin said at the front end was they're quietly 6-1 at that time. And then as he evolved that conversation with Dan, he came up with their psychotic, and they are kind of a psychotic team. And I like that description, the Psychotic Suns, because like you said, right, they do make you clinch your butthole, but you also aren't clinched because you have confidence in this team. So you might piss fart one out. And that's what it kind of happened again tonight. It was one of those piss fart victories where the team in the third quarter just kind of lost it for a while, for like 2/3 of that third quarter. They go down by 15 points. It's one of those situations where they're trailing. What was the score at the time when they trailed? Their biggest lead, it was 84-69. And you're kind of like, oh man, team's not looking connected. Don't know if it's necessarily something that they can come back with because of the way that Miami was playing this game. Miami is a defensively sound team. They have Eric Spoelstra as their head coach, and that's where they've kind of made their name thus far this season, entering this game 3-3. As I mentioned, they played some subpar teams and they got victories, right? They played Detroit. They played Charlotte. They played the Kings, which is a quality victory, and they beat them by 1 point. But you look at the final scores, and they're lower scoring games. It's a team that's about 9th, 10th, 11th in defensive rating. As far as effective field goal percentage given up, they were 4th in the league entering this. So you don't make a lot of shots against them. They do a good job defending the perimeter, giving up the 5th least 3-point percentage. So you knew that this game had the potential to be a rock fight. And when you go down 84-69 in the third, you're kind of like, well, it's okay. These games happen. I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. But the one thing that happened was the Suns were they were missing shots in the third, but they were wide open shots. And I tweeted at the time, I'm like, they're not falling, but the shots are there. And as the third quarter progressed, when we hit that last third of the third quarter, the Phoenix Suns came storming back. They ended up 29-29 relative to points in that quarter, and got it. I think it was a 2-point game entering the fourth, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, you're it was a 3-point game.
3-point game, yeah.
3-point game entering the fourth.
I'm
but
behind you.
Oh yeah, it was 87-84. So again, 87-84. So they went on an 18-4 run to end.
Yep, exactly.
And you unclench your butthole because you're like, hey, we're entering the fourth now. The fourth has been the Phoenix Suns' time this season. The way that they've operated in the clutch. Entering tonight, they were 5-0 in the clutch, best in the NBA. And it was clutch time in tonight as the Clock went past 5 minutes. It was 101-101. The Suns from that point on outscored the Miami Heat 13-10 or 13-11, 14-11. There we go, math. 14-11 and won the game. And so when you describe this team to opposing people when you're standing at a urinal, you can say, "Yeah, they're kind of psychotic, man. Like they take you on a ride, but ultimately, they end up in the right place. Like all psychos do." Am I right? Because you're a fucking psycho if you're sitting here talking to me while I'm taking a piss. Leave me alone. And then you carry the hell on.
Well, it depends if you have the
plane
Adderall
on that one.
Yeah, and honestly, if you do take an Adderall, though, you go shit right away, so you probably won't have any pee farts when you're standing there going pee. I do think, though,
Oh, it's dribbling down your leg at that point. Yeah.
when Miami takes that lead in the third, I'm thinking one thing. I'm thinking, this team, Miami, they're fourth in the league with assist to turnover ratio at 2.1. So you're like, they're not going to turn the ball over. How the Suns going to get back into this? And then it hit me as soon as they hit like 1 or 2 threes to really get back into it. I'm like, they have not given up. This team is actually playing through the diversity, and they're actually just playing as a team, and they're not giving up. That's what we saw.
Adversity versus diversity.
Election on the mind. What can I
diversity.
tell you?
They were playing
Yeah,
through
I got
diversity,
toilets and
some
election
equity,
on the mind.
a little bit of inclusion.
Yeah, well, diversity. We like that, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know what they stand for. Yeah, let's go for it. I like that too.
But they played through adversity.
They play through adversity, and they make sure that, hey, like, we're going to keep taking these shots. And it's not last year where we're going to be down in the third quarter and the whole game's over with, right? That's what we're used to. No, this team was totally different, man. They were playing great defense. They were led by Kevin Durant. And when we say a leader, it's like he leads, but he just plays hard. He plays ball. It's a make or miss league for him, and he's been making a lot of great shots.
Yes.
So I just think that they really do look at him in his play, because you can't really look at Booker. He's not really that guy right now, right? To kind of push him through this stuff. It's really Kevin Durant, because he's really the reason that this team does not give up, and they're continuing to push the pace and continue to just jack up those shots, because they're going to catch up. In the Miami Heat, they're going to go cold too. So if we can even each other out, that'd be awesome. That's exactly what they did heading into the fourth, gave themselves a chance.
Yeah, put yourself in a position and let Kevin Durant take over and do what he does. And I know that the isolation aspects of Kevin Durant have been frustrating to people in the past, but you can't fault the results this season. And a lot of it's deferment, and there's options for him. It's not like it was last year where it was isolation heavy with no ability to defer a possession. What does that mean? Well, last season we saw it plenty, whether it was Durant or whether it was Booker. Very rarely it was Beal, where in the last 5 minutes when we went to isolation basketball, you knew that he was going to take the shot and the team would just stand around. What we've seen this season is strategic off-ball sets, strategic off-ball movement in an effort to either free Durant up or to give him a valve to escape if needed. He mentioned it at the end of the Philadelphia game when he was talking about Gershon Yabusele and how they identified him essentially as the pigeon. But what Devin Booker did on that play is he set a screen and he rolled off to KD's right, knowing that if in any way while KD was driving to the basket, if that help defense came, his outlet was Booker. It happened again all night. Booker had Jimmy Butler on him standing in the corner for those final possessions. And Jimmy was starting to sag off of him by possession 2 and possession 3 because KD was just murdering. What were they doing? They were taking advantage of, was it Hero they were attacking? Let me know, chat, who it was. But they were attacking somebody on defense. And if at any time Butler, who's a quality defender, fully committed to doubling Kevin Durant, Devin Booker would have been standing wide open in the corner and would have hit his third 3 of the night and would have won me $100 because I had like a seven leg parlay on guys hitting threes. Every guy had delivered except Booker. I needed 3 threes. He only hit 2.
Well, don't bet on the Suns team, please, because it does affect them on the court. I don't know how, but they do know it. There's a string theory. They can feel it. They're not going to perform as well. It's a lot of stress on them. I do like the fact that, though, that this team goes into the fourth quarter only down by 3, and it's kind of like the same energy throughout the game. Like they're down by 3, same energy. Down by 18, same energy. Like they keep it up. They don't let down, and that's the biggest thing this year that we've seen. And 7-1 start, it is still a little quiet, and there have been really hard games to finish out for the Suns team, but I wouldn't have it any other way. All the comebacks, all of this, I wouldn't have it any other way. If they were blowing teams out, that'd be great, like the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I like the fact that this team can get through the struggles early on and really find themselves. So it looks like they're they're almost there, right? 7-1. You can kind of see they are schizophrenic or whatever they're described as on the Fanning the Flames.
Psychotic.
Psychotic, schizophrenic. I just think this team has it right now, and that's why I just trust them. And I'll sit on the couch and be like, I'm good. I think this team will be fine. No mean tweets from me.
And in the same vein, they're defining who they are. Obviously, a clutch team, and it's unfortunate to be a clutch team sometimes, right? Because again, it's 6 of their 8 games they've played in the clutch, and you go to other teams around the league, and they're just either they're blowing people out, they're getting blown out. But what we're experiencing right now is a team that is developing character because they've had to play some clutch games. And it reminds me of that 64-win team that was so great in the clutch. We weren't complaining that they were winning clutch games and the volume in which they were having to experience them. We were thankful because we're like, oh, good, there's organization at the end. There's not discombobulation. There's understanding of who you are, and there's a resiliency that occurs. And when you win games like this, like the Suns had 6 times now in the clutch, it becomes a defining characteristic. It becomes hey, we just gave up a 5-0 run with 3 minutes left. No, we're good. We got this. You look at the clutch, Kevin Durant is shooting 66.7% this year in the clutch, as is Royce O'Neal, who's shooting 50% from beyond the arc. Bradley Beal shooting 75%. It's ridiculous how well they're executing at this point of the season. And it goes to show you one of the things that I talked about this offseason and why I was excited about this team. The continuity matters. And you returned 9 guys from last year, 9 key guys, 8 key guys. I don't know if Okogie I'd count, but 8 key guys and that might even be wrong. It might be 10 or 11. I don't even remember anymore. But you're starting your top 7 guys returned last year, and then you added Tyus Jones. You added stability into continuity. And this is the result that you're getting. So it's fun to watch this Phoenix Suns. I tweeted out there, the fucking Suns are fun to watch, and PH for fucking, like Phoenix, because I'm clever like that. But it was a really fun game to watch, and we haven't even mentioned Jusuf Nurkic, and I think that's a good way to start our player observations on this podcast.
Nurkalicious definition make them boys go crazy.
Oh. Jusuf Nurkic in this game was just absolutely unbelievable. Ends with 20 points, ends with 18 rebounds. He's 6 of 8 from the field. He's 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. If you're driving and listening to this podcast, I hope you didn't get in a car accident after hearing that statistic. 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. He hit a 28-foot desperation shot when Ryan Dunn had a shot. He's like, "Fuck that! I'm passing out of this," and he gave it to Nurk, and Nurk nailed it. Was unbelievably fantastic on the boards. Owned Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, 5 of 21 from the field tonight. 12 points, had 12 rebounds. But 5 of 21 from the field because of the shot deterrence that Jusuf Nurkic was providing, because of the physicality in which he was playing, because he didn't have to guard him on the perimeter. He dropped on Bam Adebayo all day long and dared him to shoot a jumper. And when Adebayo abided, he didn't hit. And it unlocked that ability. When Nurk plays against people like Bam Adebayo and there's no threat of a 3-point shot or a mid-range shot, he's going to excel. He excelled tonight, Matthew.
He did. The great hands from the heavens really reached down that thin body of Nurk. We love that thin body that he has. Great thin body. We really like it now, right? I think he lost some weight. We're all like, oh no, is that a good idea? Grayson Allen put on some weight. Oh no, is that a good idea? I think these guys are fine. I think Nurk's really found his way beyond the arc. He is Steph Curry now, just launching them. I like the fact that he's shooting them, but these guys are coming at him too, and he's doing it. It's kind of like a confident 3-point shot like Ryan Dunn was showing earlier in the year, where he didn't care. The percentage in college, he didn't care. You can look at that, but on the court right now in the NBA, I'm just going to launch these threes against these defenders running at me with confidence. And that's what Nurk was doing tonight too. I know one was a buzzer beater, and I don't know if he got lucky, but that was just the cap on a really great night from him. I like the fact that he keeps moving too. The threes were awesome. It's unexpected, but just because he started out so slow, but we, I guess, hope kind of to expect it this year because it was talked about so much in the offseason. but also like he's cutting to the rim. Like there was a big cut in the fourth he took, big 2 points, and it wasn't just the threes. It was just those 2 points and how they just kind of find Nurk in the first quarter too, to give him the ball, a lot of space. He's doing a good job on the pick and rolls, not turning the ball over. He's doing exactly what we ask, but a little bit more. So I think before last pod, I'm like, let's just get a decent center. That's not get a new one, but let's just have Nurk be a decent center and just not turn the ball over, rebound, make the few extra passes, whatever. But now he's just doing the extra stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So I think all those prayers that I said for him came through. So I know, Jamsters, you might think that maybe I hate him or a lot of us hate him, but I was saying prayers for him all night long for the last few weeks.
Well, I think, obviously a polarizing figure for those of you who are on the socials because of the way that Anthony Davis chewed him up. And it's a reminder that he's going to have good nights like tonight. And playing the past like 3 games, he's had some really good nights, and he's gonna have bad ones. So tonight is a good night, and we should be happy. But also understand that he will have bad nights, and we will be sad. And that's what you get when you have the guy who, as it pertains to centers, is paid 18th highest at that position in the league. He's a mid-level center. He's gonna have good games. He's gonna have bad games. He's gonna have average games. And that's part of the whole package. So elate tonight in the fact that he played as well as he did. Know that he could come right back on Friday against Dallas and have a down game. And it's like Ricky Rubio used to say, never too high, never too low. You just have to kind of roll in the medium start. You have to be like an independent, when it comes to Nurkic, right? You can't be too high. You can't be too right wing or too left wing with him. You just got to stay down the road of independent and accept that some days it's going to be there and some days it's not. If he was a cheese, what would he be?
Oh, Swiss cheese, absolutely.
Because of the way he smells or like holes in his game?
If you get really close to the guy, they're going to see a little bit of holes in his skin for sure. Or I'm always super far away and he's on TV, so I have no idea.
he's got some
thick
undulations on his skin surface.
Yep, some pores wide open.
Nurkic, if you're watching, Matthew said it. It wasn't me, and you can't block me anyways because I'm already blocked. So you can feel free to block Matthew. Well, Matthew doesn't have an.
I do actually. I just signed back up, and I'm there. I just have like the one follower. I'm following one person, whatever.
What's your
at Matthew? I think it's Matthew Plissy. I have to double check.
Matthew Plissy.
Yeah, Matthew Plissy. That's back.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Who the heck are you? I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am. Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything? I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
All right. Kevin Durant, 32 points tonight. Unbelievable again. 4 of 11 from beyond the arc, a little less efficient. 13 of 23 in this game, a little less efficient than his 16 for 20 last game. 8 total rebounds, 3 assists. Did have the 6 turnovers, some boneheaded passes, but that's part of the game with Kevin Durant. Had a block shot as well, a really impressive block shot at that. But again, it's the fourth quarter where Kevin Durant thrived in this game. 11 of the Suns, 31 points in that fourth. 4 of 6 from the field. Efficiency went through the roof. 1 of 3, 2 rebounds, an assist, and 1 heart stolen. Mine again. Kevin Durant, I love you.
Oh, breaking news. I love you too. And Suns are now number 1 in the West with the OKC losing.
Oh, did OKC
Nuggets.
lose?
Wow.
Dude, Boston lost to Golden State tonight and
Did
Boston. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think it had a lot to do with
the number 1 seed.
Why were they booing Steve Kerr in Boston? What was going on there?
Probably because he benched Tatum in the Olympics.
There you go. That's what it was. Why could I not think of that? Anyways, all right. Well, let's talk about KD a little bit. I think that KD is obviously someone just said MVP. He is going to be up there, top 5 for sure right now. I think he definitely is the guy in Phoenix winning these games for the Suns, even though Booker was player of the week, right? He put up those numbers, but the guy that's really winning these games in the end, it's KD, and his stats look terrific right now. 27 points per game, obviously a little bit lower than his usual, but that was what he had last year, and that was a shit year really for everybody. So I feel like it's going to be more in the 30 range by the time we're done. But obviously this game it's a game where he just didn't give up, like I said earlier, and he kind of just led the team in that way. There's a certain energy he has right now, and it's kind of just, I don't even want to say I give a fuck, but it's like the opposite of what you want from, superstar like Embiid. Like, I'm going to sit out, playoffs only matter. Like, if KD was doing that, I know Embiid's a little different, maybe because he has the injuries, and the injury you want to kind of, like, I guess just kind of like go through the season and just be careful with that thing. But KD, if he was doing that, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. Because that's the way the team was kind of last year. It's like, let's just wait for the playoffs. And I just love the fact that
Yeah.
KD is playing like it is the
God,
playoffs.
so good. Such a great observation.
Oh, thank you so much. Are you?
No,
Are you
I'm
just,
serious. Like, you're
oh,
100%
okay.
right in this. Like, last year it was this constant, like, dude, we just got to get to the playoffs. Like, Kevin Durant, you think about what he's been through in his career and how late he's played into postseasons in the past, right? Winning a couple championships with Golden State, making a deep run with the Nets before having his toe on the line. Then he was swept out of the playoffs in his last season with the Nets. And then he was swept out of the playoffs, and then he went to the second round with us with Denver, and then was swept out again last postseason, unfortunately. Like, this is a guy who kind of has that swag about him, if you will, of like, yeah, just like wait till the playoffs come, I'll really turn it on. And he's thrown that out the door this season. He's saying, I want to execute now. I'm playing. He's playing 39 minutes a game.
Yeah. Do you think that matters?
Well, that's a question I have for you. Do you think that him playing 39 minutes a game right now matters? Because I know that a lot of fans take a look at that metric and they go, oh man, we don't want to tax him too much. He is old. I know Bill Simmons was talking about it. It's like this guy's from the 2007 draft, and he's in MVP conversations because he's carrying the team right now, which he is, as we saw again tonight, especially at the times of the game that matter most. So are you worried about the fact that through the first 8 games of the season, he's averaging 39 minutes a game?
No, I'm not worried. And I think I can kind of go with EJ on it during the broadcast.
The
broadcast, EJ was talking about, he takes some plays off, right? He's standing in the corner sometimes. So he's not really playing the full 39 minutes, 37 minutes, whatever. He kind of takes some plays off, which is fine. But also, I like it that it's 39 minutes because this team has to get used to each other. They have to figure this out between all of them. So it's not like it's going to be a consistent thing, I think, throughout the year. But I'm just about, like Kevin Durant's about, getting this team and this season off to a really great start. So right now, I'm not worried about the minutes. If it's something that continues and he's playing a lot of minutes in the fourth when we have a blowout, then that's an issue. But these games have been very, very close, and we need KD to get to the 7-1 start. There's no other option, I feel like, and he wants to play. And then it's so weird because he's playing a lot of minutes, but he's also like falling on the ground. He has those, crazy shots where he falls on one foot and he's just like stumbling out of bounds and knocking over a beer. But I'm not too worried. He looks a little bit more limber out there. He doesn't look as like he was last year where he would just kind of fall over and you'd be like, oh, is he all right? You're so worried. He just seems different, and there's no worry about him getting hurt. Bradley Beal, of course, might, and he is hurt right now, but I'm not worried about KD and his minutes are getting hurt at all.
Yeah, neither am I, because of like what you said, what EJ said. So you saying what EJ said about how he's what he's doing this season is something that is a little bit different than seasons past, where because of the offense around him, because of the structure around him, because of the way that Mike Budenholzer does his rotations, there are plays in which he, like, watch him on offense. He stands off to the side for, and lets other guys cook. It's very LeBron-esque. And I'm talking like when he stands off to the side, it's not in the corner. He's just above the break standing there. So you think about how long an NBA court is. Running three-point line to three-point line is a lot different than running baseline to baseline. Like, watch the next game, Jamsters. Just watch KD when he's off ball and see how deep he goes on offense. And you'll see that it's like, yeah, he's taking those breaks off during the game. The other thing that I think is, like, right now, they are very, and by they I mean the Suns, they are very much riding his coattails and riding this heater he's on. And that's what you should do. You do that in basketball games until a guy throws up a heat check and misses, right? Right now, he's on a set of games where he is just feeling it. And you don't want to go, okay, let's cut your minutes, down to 32 a couple nights here and there, just, to load manage you. We as fans bitch and moan about load management. So people who are bitching and moaning about 39 minutes from KD, like just look inwards a little bit and go, you know what? I get what you're saying if you're upset about him playing 39 minutes a game. I understand it because you're trying to preserve the asset. You're trying to make sure his legs are fresh for when we need it. But also just be thankful that he's playing that and doing so effectively. You know, that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah. And I think right now we're really hitting that point where we're like, oh my God, yes, the Suns traded for Kevin Durant. It was exciting in the beginning, but we went through a lot of shit to this point in the last 3 or 4 games where he's really come alive. And it's like, oh my God, this is the reason you trade for him. I know that sounds ignorant and just, a little lame on the other end, but it's true. It's because, it's been rough for Suns fans. And now he's really come through, man. Now he's really proven himself. Same stats, but it's just a different Kevin Durant.
Well, his teammate in the post-game interviews with the local Suns media, Devin Booker just said, Kevin Durant is a motherfucker to deal with. And that is so very true. Just
what's with all the cursing in the post-game? Like Trae Young's like, I love it, but it's like, what are we teaching our kids, right? Trae Young's like telling the Knicks fans in Atlanta, get the hell out. He's like, watch your asses on the way out or something like that. It's just like, all right. Yeah, I guess so. I guess we all curse since we're 3. I'm just a little more wholesome. I don't know.
Well, let's just do this real quick. Let's see if I can find this. Nope, that's not it. Oh, there it is. Childhood trauma. That's right, Jamsters. A mid-show childhood trauma.
Gotta do it.
Do you remember the first time you cursed?
I remember the first time I heard a curse word. I don't think I remember the first time I cursed, but I know it was probably in 3rd or 4th grade for sure.
Sounds about right. About right.
Yeah, you try to be cool. And you just say things, you don't even know what it means. You're just saying it.
Oh, I definitely knew. I grew up in an Irish Catholic family, man. My parents cussed like sailors. I love them for it.
Oh, okay. Mine did not.
But I'll never forget. It was probably 2nd grade. I was going to St. John Baptist de La Salle in Granada Hills, California. And obviously a private school. And we're out on the field during recess and we're playing football. And I went to catch a ball and I caught it and then I dropped it. And I was so mad. And I picked up the ball and I jumped in the air and I spiked the ball and I yelled shit. I was like, shit, and the funny thing is I got in trouble for it because somebody went and ran and told the monitor. And, all of a sudden an adult comes up there and this was like 5-10 minutes later. And I was just like, well, they came up and there's like, you're using offensive language. We need to take you to detention right now. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I know the exact kid to this day. I know him. And I remember seeing him like on the other side of the field. Him and I had a beef. His name was also John, but without an H. So like we always had just some random beef as kids.
Missing a little piece of his heart.
Yeah, he was jealous of my H or something in my name. And I saw him on the other side and he was talking to some people. And then my friends told me, over the next couple of days that, John Kirkpatrick ratted you out. I'm like, snitches get stitches. I'm like, fuck that guy.
Wow. I don't know how you remember that, but H. Hova.
And then I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and I started going to public school in 6th grade, Creighton, and every kid cussed like a sailors. And I was just like, I remember being in the library and I was just like, fuck. Nobody cares. There it gets public school. We don't care, man.
Well, that's the difference. Okay, really quick, Jamster. So when we go out, families, John's family, my family, very, very different.
Very different.
Quiet does not curse.
His family.
Not. John, his family, this one over here, loud, cursing, does not care. So it makes sense because you grew up in it. When I grew up in it, like I couldn't say anything. My parents never cussed. My dad never talked. So I just, it wasn't around. And then my brother-in-law that basically was like maybe my male role model. He wouldn't curse around me either. And if anybody did around me, like his friends, he'd be like, hey, knock it off. There's a kid around. So I'm like, maybe I had a little bit more respect, for people and for kids with cursing. So that's probably what it is. Anyways.
Fuck that.
Sha la 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 la. Mr. Jones and me.
So Tyus Jones in this game, 2 of 7 from the field in 32 minutes played, almost 33 minutes played, 5 points, 8 assists, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, 8 assists, 1 turnover. So that assist to turnover ratio remains. But I kind of feel like, I don't know, Tyus Jones has had a couple off games. He feels clunky the past couple games. He had a couple late turnovers against Philadelphia. He didn't play in the last 5 minutes against Philadelphia. Not as involved as he should be, or is this the proper amount, Matthew?
I don't know. It started in the first quarter where it starts with him having the ball, then Beal, then Book bringing it up. So it's just like there's not a consistency with him. So he is obviously very ball dominant in his career. He wants to have the ball, and he was on a sorry team last year with the Wizards. So he's not going to worry about these stars on the team and have to kind of distribute. But it's not even distributing. It's just like they take the ball over and then they run plays, right? You'll see Tyus in the fourth, in the end, and crunch time to bring it up and get plays set, which is great. I love that. And I love the fact that he is ending games with the Suns. But it's not what we thought it would be. I kind of just thought like he's going to be setting these guys up. But KD's having the ball a lot more, which looks a lot better this year. Beal and Book still sit in the corner and stuff, but I feel like it's always a lot of KD taking over. Right now it looks great because he's doing a good job with the ball, but Tyus is kind of just finding his way out. I don't know if he's really struggling. There's no consistency in the game at all with him and what they want him to do. So he's just kind of picking and choosing as the game goes on.
Well, I bring him up because, like you said, you had expectations for him coming and joining this team, and I think I did too. I think I'd see more playmaking, or I'd feel more playmaking. Again, 8 assists isn't bad, right? The 5 points, it's not bad either. Although I'd like him to average, a little bit more than that because he is somebody who can shoot the 3 ball very, very effectively. I just feel like his involvement isn't meeting my expectations, but at the same time, strategically, we're winning games. What Bud's doing is winning games. And Tyus played 9 minutes in the fourth quarter, and he had 3 of his 8 assists in that fourth. I just don't remember them necessarily. So maybe it's a good thing. It's like low-key's a ninja, kind of hiding behind the defense. You don't really see him, and all of a sudden he whips a pass out and somebody hits a quality shot. But it's a very interesting addition in the way that he's being utilized because it's not meeting my expectations, but still being effective. And I just bring it up because it's something I'm just pinging. I'm pinging right now. I want to see how it works out, moving forward and such.
Yeah, me too. And he's not turning the ball over. So, when he does have the ball, he's not going to make a bad decision. KD did have the 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
So it almost got to a point with a few plays there. You're like, all right, dude, chill out. But then that's what would happen. They kind of chill out. He would take over. So those 8 assists were silent, but deadly.
Yeah. Like a piss fart.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Big Dick Booker.
Booker, a little bit of a better game. I think it's not hard to outdo what he did last time. Last time he was 3 of 18 from the field, and I was talking to somebody at work yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I wonder how often Devin Booker shoots 17% or less in his career, and how many times we win those games. And upon delving, it's 7 or 12 times in his entire career he shot under 17%. And only in one of those games ever had we won the game. And it happened to be his second game of his career. He played 2 minutes. He was 0 of 1 from the field, and it was his 19th birthday. We beat like Portland or something back in 2015. The other 10 games prior to our last game, we had lost. We've relied on Devin Booker to carry us for so long. It's easy to see why he defers late in the fourth quarter to Kevin Durant because, 1, KD's going to make the shot, and 2, it's nice for him not to be relied on to make the shot. Tonight, 38 minutes played for D-Book, 9 of 17 from the field, 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. Had it only been 3. Ended with 22 points, had 9 assists, had 4 rebounds. What do you see from Devin Booker since he won Western Conference Player of the Year or Player of the Week?
It's all been quiet to me. Even like those great games where he had 30 plus points. Like I don't feel like it's the same kind of like, oh my God, this guy is nuts from the field, right? The way we were feeling kind of like years before. And then Kevin Durant comes here and we're just like, Devin Booker, this is me. He's still the best player on the team, right? And then now in the beginning of the season, you realize Kevin Durant is the best player on the team, and Book kind of just falls in line with everybody else. That's how I see it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's fine. I just don't think even
It's a
after
good
last
problem to
season,
have.
it is. And you can't really win a championship, I feel like, if Booker is your best player. There's nothing wrong with that either. Like, he's a great player, obviously, but we need a guy like Kevin Durant to really step up in big moments. Book does, and he will. I just think that his games are kind of silent, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think last game he was off, and no one made a big deal about it. This game, it was seemed a little bit slower. The second half, like he just got, I feel like in his own head or something, playing against Hero there. Hero was talking a lot of trash in the third quarter.
Yeah,
He
it
was
was
hitting some
Jimmy,
big
though.
shots.
It was Jimmy. Jimmy was locking him down.
Yeah, but then also on the other end, though, Hero was just hitting shots in his face, and he was just
Yeah.
talking shit. And the Book would have to come down. He hit one shot, but it just seemed like he was in his head. But I don't know. Like, there's just a different kind of demeanor in the last two games with Booker, where he just kind of seems different, a little down, a little out of it, but he's still getting the job done. I just don't notice him as much.
Emo Book, man. Maybe he's just like,
I like that. Yeah,
it's like, I'm 28 now.
Hot topic Book.
I'm 28 now. Like, Kevin's the best guy on the team. I'm just gonna be over here coming up with shoe ideas, playing it as it lies. No, I mean, he the form looks good. Everything. The challenge that I had tonight, and this might sound a little petty, is just the fact he wasn't getting the calls tonight. I really feel like he was being allowed to be defended very, very physically.
Yes.
And it's interesting because Scott Foster's calling this game. He's out there officiating. It's just like it frustrates you. It frustrates you like when somebody tells you that they had an offer to play college ball, but chose to cover the Suns instead. And then you research a little bit and found that they didn't even play high school ball. So how do they get offered to play college ball?
Calling
It's like,
somebody out?
you know, I'm just saying, like, in a hypothetical.
All right,
you know,
well,
like,
let's
it's
start
just-
naming names.
It just makes you mad. And like when you see Scott Foster out there officiating, do you care?
I think he's a stud. I think if I grow up, I really hope I look like that dude because he's a stud, fills that shirt very well, and
I think he looks like
very
Carrie Lake.
powerful. He does. He does look like Carrie Lake, right? Did she win?
She got her ass kicked.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I forgot. I did vote for her just for fun, though. I'll throw that out there. I did because I don't even care. I was talking to my girlfriend about voting, and I'm like, I voted last minute, and I'm like, I don't even know why I voted for this person. I had no information about him, and I just got suckered into it, and then there you go. So.
And you're sitting in the voting booth, and you're like, Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake, I'm all
Looks like Scott Foster. You know what? I know who that is.
Yeah.
But they have something in common. They're both bad. No,
They
just
both
kidding.
look like, yeah.
But Scott, here's what's interesting about Scott Foster. Can you name one NFL referee?
Jimmy Two Lights?
No,
I don't know.
No. Like there used to be Ed Hockley, who was just jacked. Like you knew him because you're like, is that guy in the WWE? I don't know any NFL official's name, and I watch every game. I got the Red Zone going. I got the Cardinals game going. I watch Sunday night. I watch Monday night. I watch Thursday night. There's a Friday morning game. It's fucking. But in the NBA, like they're part of the game. Once I heard Scott Foster was calling this game, I'm like, this is going to be interesting. We're definitely going to have situations where calls will be questionable. And
it was rough.
There's going to be challenges that will have to be called because of his ability to be sheerly incompetent. Sad in the chat says Tony Brothers, another guy I know because he has mustaches for eyebrows.
Yeah, love that guy.
Justin, oh gosh, what's the guy's name? I'm forgetting it. There's a guy
hamburger meat. What's that?
Who double teed up Devin Booker against the Lakers one time. It's like a big primetime game on TNT, and he like double teed him up and threw him out of the game. I'll never forget the game. Justin Van Dyne was the guy's name. Like I'll never forget that. Like you biased bastard, get your shit. You take your ball and you get the fuck out of here. Like
that lady though, she was kind of rough because there's a few plays in front of her that were happening, like the timeout where the Suns were trying to get late in the game.
Yeah, she's like,
yeah. And then Nurk was on the floor trying to battle for the ball, and like he was getting held back.
He was right there, pulling him back.
Yeah.
She was looking at the Suns gorilla, but I hope he throws a t-shirt my way.
She's like, wait, is that real?
It's like I sit in section 112, and the shirts never. If you ever sit in section 112, the shirts never get to you because they start shooting them at like 111, and they do the full rotation with the Gatling gun, and they end at like 113.
I'm surprised they still have that. They need to come up with something else.
They need to shoot them out
in
of the
between the
scoreboard.
timeout stuff. It's not as why don't they have that yet? I bet you anything we'll get a new scoreboard.
Yeah, I think that after
I
Matt
bet you
Ishbia's
anything.
seen the Intuit Dome, he's just like, okay,
All
so
right,
let me
we're
upgrade
moving to
ya.
LA.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. So I'm here to report that Ryan Dunn hit 2 threes in this game because the last 2 games had missed all of his shots, hadn't scored any points, and we just want to make sure that we keep his confidence up, that he knows that everything's going to be okay. But then, unfortunately, reports are coming in that he sprained his left ankle. Coach Budenholzer didn't give an injury update, but he does have a sprained left ankle. If Ryan Dunn, who tonight scored a total of 7 points for the Suns, if he misses some time to nurse this ankle, what are your thoughts on that? How much does that affect this team?
You know, you can't start off 7-1 without something, and there's always going to be an injury. And if it's going to be anybody and someone that just sprains their ankle, maybe Ryan Dunn. It's a guy we can definitely afford. The impact he has when he's starting is something else, but also when he's coming off the bench and we have other guys that really kind of fill his shoes. I don't think defensively, but offensively, obviously to hit those threes, but also just defensively too with Royce, the way he's playing and Grayson Allen. Like, it's a tough bench, man. Like, when they come out and play some defense, like, I don't know. I'm not too worried though. I don't think it's going to be a thing where if he misses some games, we're going to lose some games. I think we really count on the guy to have some really good games, but he's been in a little bit of a slump, and we're still winning games. So I think everything's okay. Games.
Yeah. The one thing that we have going for us, everybody was available on the roster tonight. I mean, it's rare to have that as a team. Although we haven't seen Josh Okogie yet. He's no longer on the injury report. Dunn most likely is going to go to the injury report. And it's unfortunate because he is an impact player. And you saw it again tonight. He came in and he started guarding Jimmy Butler. And he stuffed Jimmy Butler, was called for a foul where, again, if you watched it, I didn't think it was a foul. It was a block. And the next time down, he goes and he stuffs, I think, Bam Adebayo. I mean, he was looking really impressive, again, defensively. And it's just a really nice wrinkle to have for the Suns. He only played 10 minutes tonight. He's not playing a ton of minutes. But it's nice to have this, it's like you have a Rottweiler on a chain that's just dying to run across the yard and go get that steak that you threw out there because you're an asshole and you buy steaks and just throw them in the yard, apparently. And he's just chomping at the bit. And that's what you do. You let him for 10 minutes. You're like, go get that steak, motherfucker. Go get it. And he enjoys the steak. And then he comes back and he says, thanks, man. Thanks. And that's what Dunn does, man. He's a dog. And not to have that for 10 minutes, obviously there's other options. If Dunn's hurt, it means we're going to see some Okogie minutes. And 10 minutes of Okogie is the proper amount of minutes from Okogie because he too cannot hit threes like Dunn did like Dunn did over the last 2 games. But he hit 2 threes, had 7 points, and was productive in this game. And it's just good for him to continue to get some experience. So more to come on that, Champs. Just keep an eye on that injury report, see if Dunn's going to be playing because we play Luka Doncic on Friday. And it's great to put a dog on fat Luka. He's
first game though wasn't.
He's a fat blubbery steak out there. He's wants to let the dog eat, man.
Yeah, I think that Dunn's disappearance from this lineup, it's not something that you have to fear really because a lot of guys step up now. Like I think even last season, like you would worry about anybody getting hurt. It's like, oh fuck, like with the restart, right? But this team has done a good job with Bradley Beal in and out of the lineup. Grayson Allen kind of off to the slow start. And then also just Devin Booker having an off game. So they kind of just fill the shoes of what needs to be done. And that's the way the team has played all year long.
All season. All right. Well, I was in South Beach tonight. I was in South Beach. I was hanging out on the subreddit stakeout of the Miami Heat. And here's what they had to say about the Phoenix Suns.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Where is she? She's in South Beach. I wish she would put some clothes on. It's inappropriate. There's children here. Bitch.
All right, so this is what I saw on the subreddit stakeout. So I don't know why this comment was so funny to me, and I don't understand why the person made this comment because there's no one on the Heat named Tyrone, right? There's Tyler Hero, but somebody's said, naming my first daughter Tyrone. I don't know. I don't get it. And then they have Pele Larson plays for them, right? And somebody said, I am a Larson sexual and I'm not scared to admit it. If he's hitting threes, Ryan Dunn is such a good pick. Nurk already got a double-double before the half. That's crazy. Bam is getting shitted on. Bam getting sunned by Nurkic in 2024. Bam getting bitched by Jusuf. He's bum out of bio until further notice. Bam is lucky that Bradley Beal is out there, because otherwise he'd look really bad. It's like such a low-key shot at Beal.
Jeez.
And this is the only thing I had because I was so into the game. I stopped looking at the subreddit at halftime. But it says, man, Scott Foster just infuriates me. What a complete cunt.
The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout.
Sorry, Jamsters. That's all.
C word, right?
Yeah, they dropped the C word on it. I was like, good
Delicious.
Lord. I was like, whoa, that's aggressive. Any other notes that you have written down that you want to talk about, Matthew?
I think I had the Miami Heat were 4-0 or undefeated when grabbing 10 plus offensive rebounds. They had 14 today.
Did they really? Oh, I guess they did.
13. I'm sorry, 13.
How many second chance points did we give up? Only 14? That's impressive.
Yeah, so I mean, it got kind of bad there for a little bit, but the Suns out rebounded them 36-30 total. Good job, Nurk. I like how Nurk was yelling, "Get down here and help me rebound these things."
Yeah,
that was
he's like,
nice.
"Come on, guys, I got 18 of these things. Can't you just come grab one? Like, help a Nurkic out, help a Nurk daddy out." All right, let's hand out some hard.
Jam star of the game.
Who's your jam star? All right, so a reminder, Jamster, subscribe, rate, review. If you happen to be watching live, hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching at a later time, hit that buns up, suns up, buns up button as well. And if you're listening, just listen, just enjoy the pod. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Shit, love you all, you guys. It's a great little day. 7-1, gotta love it. I'm just on one.
Yeah, you're doing great. Last 5 minutes, dude. Let's do the last 2-minute report from this pod.
And let us know in the chat who your jam star of the game is. I feel like you've led off a couple times.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lead off.
How dare you?
I mean, it's so easy to say KD. It really is. The 32 points, the way that he played in the fourth quarter, just going to him time and again and just having him execute. There's nothing like it. But this is a Nurkic game. I had people who were just mean over this past weekend. And I think I talked about this a little on the pod, but like I blocked people this weekend because people were just trying to dunk on me and bringing up conversations from like the beginning of last year and and saying that I'm a doormat and all this stuff because I didn't subscribe to the fact that I'm like, we're winning games. Jusuf Nurkic has down games, but he's going to have some up ones. Just, it's a season. Chill, everybody. Are you fucking doormat? So I started blocking people. There's a lot of negativity. And I had a guy who bitched after he led the team. I want to say it was a Saturday game. Nurkic led the team with a plus 15. And he said something about like, well, Nurk sucks. I'm like, well, he was plus 15. He's not horrible. He's like, it doesn't matter. And he came back. He's like, I apologize. And I was like, people can redeem themselves, and that makes me happy. So for that reason, I give it to Nurkic. Did you say it's weird we fight?
Yes, it's weird you guys fight anyways.
Yeah, this is very, very true. But I'm giving it to Nurkic.
Me too.
Who you giving it to?
Yeah, I gotta give it to Nurk. Yeah, he was insane tonight. He was insane. That was the best Nurk game since he's been here. So it's got to go to him.
Even more than like the 32 rebound game. That was pretty impressive. It was the threes tonight, man.
Yeah, which is everything. Like he was all over the place, man. He was on the floor. Like you can just count on him to go for that ball late in the game, even though he's getting fouled and wasn't called. It's like this guy's hustling. Like he has it in him, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
stuff by him.
it was great. Like you said, he got fouled consistently and nothing, but good for him. Let's see what the Jamsters say. This is where I like to let Matthew do it because he can't pronounce anybody's name.
Ever.
I know it's funny. Jay Salcido, Nurk for MVP. Creepy Crawley says Nurk is better than Kevin. They let this guy have a podcast. Jamstar tonight is Nurk from Suns Fever 83. Let's see. Sir Hamo's giving it to Beal, it appears.
Let's go, baby.
Beal, the fourth best player on the Suns, who had 7 points in the game. Okay.
Yeah,
this guy have a podcast? This is your podcasting community. I think they're just being dicks. Kadirk for Keith Nettles. Katie again for me for Saul. Not a bad pick. Katie is the jam star of the game from David Ray. My jam star is Nurk from Kiko. Nurk from Mark N as well. Kevin Wayne Durant, Aussie Suns fan podcast. They let that guy have a podcast. Nurk for the win from Sad. Always Katie, so of course Nurk, Seth, and that's kind of where I'm at. There's going to be plenty more games in which we see Katie get this Jamstar. I think he's leading our Jamstar rankings early on this season. Fumar El Oso, Sophie Cunningham for Jam. Yeah, it's good to see Sophie Cunningham back on the broadcast.
She's great on. Yeah, she's great.
She is.
She says some stuff that's like Suns Jam stuff. I'm like, oh, you can't say that on the post game or even the halftime report.
K Ray sitting there, he's just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Nurkalicious from Kip. And let's just go. Jam says, I'm going for shit, fuck, or cunt. So I'm sorry to anyone who has kids in the car. Don't blame me. I'm just reading it. Okay. It's not what I got. All right. Up next for the Phoenix Suns, a 5:30 game on Friday.
Nice.
Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. Yeah. The next few games, because we have that one.
5:36. Next one.
6 o'clock on Sunday against the Kings. That's a home game. And then we play Utah at Utah, which I think is a 6 o'clock game as well on Tuesday. So we got some earlier starts here. But looking at the Mavs again, obviously this is a team that the Suns beat earlier this season. A team that, Luka's not off to the start that everybody thought that he would be. It's always funny, the national pundits at the end of every season, they just look at whoever represented the Western Conference the season before. They're like, that's a top 3 team. They did it with the Lakers 2 years ago. They did it with Dallas this year. I was a little bit more down on Dallas. Prior to tonight, I don't know if they played tonight. 4-3, 6.
They won.
So they won. So they're
5-3, yeah.
In this game. Luka Doncic, as I mentioned, from an efficiency standpoint, he's shooting 32.4% from 3, and he's shooting 10 a game. So what are your thoughts entering this game? Do we need a wash, rinse, and repeat performance from Jusuf Nurkic to win this game, or are there other ways for that to occur?
No, it's nice that Derek Lively. So Derek Lively, I feel like this year has been a little rough, but he is out this game. I guess he has a shoulder injury, so he won't be probably playing. Currently out. We'll see where he is on Friday, but I like the fact that the Suns team might be without Ryan Dunn if they are in this game, just because an offensive firehouse like the Mavericks, who are going to come in, they're probably going to catch fire and start to turn things around. They're 5-3, great record so far, but like you said, the expectations are there. Losing the first game against the Suns, it's going to be in their heads. They're going to come back, show up in front of the Mavericks crowd, show them who's boss, show them remember when we beat the Suns in 7 games, like all that shit. It's going to be brought back up. All that stuff that we don't want to see. But it's going to be a competitive game. I love this, that the Suns have such a hard schedule to start this season. One game after another. The Mavericks are just another team. If we beat and go 8-1, I'm like, dude, this team's for real. Championship.
Do we win?
I think we lose. I do. I think it's a loss. I'm just gonna say a loss.
Yeah, I don't disagree. We've been towing this line for the first, 7 games, 8 games. And there's going to be a time where we just fall off the tightrope. And if there's any player who can execute at the end of games, it's Luka and Kyrie. So it's going to be very obviously, I didn't get to watch the first time we played them. That was when I was at the Halloween party. So I'm excited to see how the Suns play Dallas in this game. but I don't expect a victory. So when we're sitting here on Friday talking about a victory, it's going to be oh so
It's
sweet.
gonna be, and it's Friday night too, and it's an early game.
It's
So I have a little bit of
night.
a Friday night.
Yeah, we can go to the club afterwards.
Yeah.
Club
Do you like this dance?
Med.
Who does this dance, dude? That's that one, dude.
Yeah. For those of you listening, Matthew's doing the robot. All right. Anything else you want to get to before we get out of here, Matthew?
You know what? I just think that everyone out there right now listening, I want to thank you so much for everything, all the confidence you give me over the years, everything that you made me. Leave a 5-star review, please, to come from the bottom of your heart, please.
Wow, that was touching. Wow. I have nothing to add. I'm happy that Matthew feels that way.
Okay, go home with your family.